Today, with more than 90,000 Wi-Fi networks under management, OpenMesh is one of the most successful enterprise Wi-Fi companies out there. My guest today is Ryan Detwiller, General Manager of OpenMesh. Join us right after this short message. All right, everybody, welcome back. My name is Claus Hetting, and I'm the host of Wi-Fi Now TV. This is the interview program that brings you all the great stories and not least all the great people from across the Wi-Fi industry. So today we've got a really good one for you. I'll be talking to Ryan Detwiller of OpenMesh. OpenMesh has racked up some remarkable results, and they're today managing, I think the latest figures are more than 90,000 Wi-Fi networks across the world on their cloud. We'll ask Ryan about the OpenMesh secret to success. And by the way, OpenMesh has also been acquired by data protection company Datto, or Dato, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But we'll ask Ryan about all of that in just a moment, what the impact of that might be. So before we get into that, I just want to tell you that Wi-Fi Now, the Expo and Conference, is going to Washington, D.C. this April 18th to 20th. And of course, that's less than 2 weeks ago now. We've got more than 45 speakers lined up to give you the latest and greatest in everything related to Wi-Fi business and technology. We also have dozens of exhibitors, including OpenMesh, ready to show you their latest and greatest in Wi-Fi solutions. Of course, we're covering all the new Wi-Fi standards, cities, enterprise, carriers, security, affordable connectivity, all of that. So if you're in the Wi-Fi industry, this is the one event you're not going to want to miss. And if you want to join us, you got to be quick because as I said, there's only 2 weeks to go, a little bit less than that. So for all the details, go to wifinowevents.com/USA. And if you have any questions, drop me a line at klaus@wifinowevents.com. Always delighted to hear from you. So for my guest today, it's Ryan Detwiller, General Manager of OpenMesh. Ryan, really good to see you, and thanks for coming on.
Likewise, Klaus, good to see you as well. Glad to be here.
Great. So Ryan, as I just told you before, I was doing my homework on you guys, and I came across all these really impressive figures. And you need to explain to me in just a moment what your secret sauce is, because I think those are tremendous accomplishments. But before we do that, just give us the 1-minute introduction to OpenMesh, the company.
Absolutely. So OpenMesh has been around for about 10 years. We've grown organically through that time period. We say that we're on a mission to make Wi-Fi smarter and simpler. So everything that we do is designed to be incredibly easy to install, incredibly easy to manage, whether you have one site or hundreds or thousands of locations. And it's designed to hit a price point that really works for a hospitality SMB market. Mm-hmm. Something that's a little bit unique about OpenMesh is that we include the cost of the cloud component in with the initial cost of the hardware. So there's no ongoing subscription fees, which is a little bit different than a lot of other cloud managed solutions out there. So again, been around for about 10 years. Our focus has been on the hospitality market. So hotels and resorts, food and beverage, retail, a lot of SMB. We also play a little bit in education, as well as some other smaller markets.
So there's a ton of players in this particular space, right? In this small to mid-sized enterprise space, which I'm assuming is your target market. So what do you think is the key to your success, given that you now have 90,000 customers out there?
There's a couple of things. I mean, again, we started about 10 years ago. We were really trying to solve the problem of delivering Wi-Fi to low-income housing communities. So we were looking for a solution that was really easy to deploy, easy to manage across multiple sites without rolling a lot of trucks, and that hit a price point that really works for that community. We found that there was much more of a need and a demand for that type of product in the market. And so just by listening to customers, we were able to expand from housing into some of these other adjacent verticals. So that's really been key is kind of hitting that, ease of use, performance and reliability, the price point, and then just a focus on our partners and listening to those, getting that input from them as we build the products. We don't have a large marketing or sales team, and we never really have. We've really been so partner focused. Those are the guys that are going to market with our products. So our focus has been on making them successful, making their businesses grow, and in turn that helps us grow.
So go through some of your solution highlights here, because obviously it's all cloud managed, and you do offer your own hardware, right? Take us through that for a few minutes.
That's right. So initially when we started out, again, just, trying to find a solution, not necessarily trying to start a business even in the first couple of years, we were initially flashing some low cost devices from other manufacturers and using the cloud that we had built out to enable those services. We found that really didn't work. And so we started building our own hardware. So you have a true integrated solution from the hardware to the cloud as well.
Mm-hmm.
So key for us is that cloud management. We have everything that is truly zero touch deployment. There's no controllers on site. There's nothing to log into the access point to point it to a particular cloud. If you plug the device in, it's cloud enabled by default. It'll start checking in to our cloud, and that's where you can do all the management and reporting capabilities there. On the hardware side, I think something that we bring to the table that's a little bit unique is that, in a traditional deployment, a service provider integrator would show up on a client site. They would have to kind of, take a survey, see what's there. They might go back to their office. They'd order, maybe they need 5 ceiling APs, a couple wall plate APs, maybe an AP to take things outdoors, order the devices, come back on site and do the deployment. With our solution, we've taken all of that and simplified it so they can do one step deployment. So with the same access point, you can actually deploy it on a ceiling as a wall plate AP, either in an office or in a hotel or dorm situation. The same AP can be installed outdoors. So no matter what situation our partners are walking into, they can be confident that they're walking away with a really professional installation without rolling trucks multiple times and without the ordering complexity that goes along with traditional solutions.
Mm-hmm. So it's really very much also about simplifying this entire process, right, of getting Wi-Fi for the enterprise. Could you maybe say what a typical open mesh client would be? Is there a particular segment where this is really popular?
Yeah, so we span the gamut. Like I said, a lot in hotels and resorts, a lot in small and medium enterprises, a lot of retail, food and beverage. So anywhere that you're deploying one or up to a few hundred access points across multiple locations, that's really going to be a great win for Open Mesh. So we have everything from the very small deployments where you can take your phone out and just scan the access point, set up a network in a few minutes. We've done demos where we have in front of an audience, we'll set up 2 or 3 access points in about 5 minutes, and people can connect to the network. So for very small locations, it works really well. But we have scaled up, and we see actually a lot more of our customers being on the larger side. So we've had customers that have deployed 1 or 2 access points across 1,200 locations. And with our solution, you're able to do that in 3 days, where it might take a lot more time with some other vendors. So.
And all of this is essentially deployed and sold via your partner network. Is that correct?
That's right. So we have our site where anyone can buy direct from us, plus a network of distributors in the US and around the world. But primarily when we actually asked our customers and, figuring out who are these people buying our products, most of the time it's going to be managed service providers or IT integrators that are installing it on behalf of an end user. That's probably 75% of our market is the professional IT services provider installing for the end user.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go a little bit deeper into the details, because one of the things that I would think is a key to your success is this very, very easy setup. You mentioned it already. And also the aspect of reliability. You've got a self-healing mechanism that I'd like you to talk about. But essentially when you start setting this up, if you're an enterprise, or as you said, a managed service provider for enterprises, the idea is you set it up from an app essentially, and you scan the code and basically up and running on the cloud within a very short time, right?
That's right. So there's a couple of ways to set up a network. If you're doing a very small deployment, like I said, the mobile app is a great way to go. It's just a free app you can download. You scan the access point, you set up your network name, and you're ready to go. And that sets it up. It's not like you're tied to that mobile app. It's still managing everything through the cloud. So you can log into the cloud controller and take control there as well. But there's also the full web application. So if you're deploying multiple sites, more complex networks, sometimes it's great to jump into the web application, and you can upload your access points in bulk. All we need is a MAC address. As soon as you have the MAC address and those access points have power and an internet connection, they'll check into the cloud, they'll grab the configuration and start reporting data within a couple minutes.
So it's even similar to some of the technology that we're seeing now coming out for in-home type routers that are managed and set up in that way, right? But you're just doing it on the enterprise side.
Absolutely, yeah. So a lot of the things that you're seeing in the home space, when they talk about borrowing enterprise technology, a lot of that is stuff that we've been having for years in the enterprise. We've actually seen a lot of people, in high-end homes that are maybe, you have a professional AV person who's managing the network and the AV systems, alarms, everything else. They're using open mesh in those situations as well.
So tell us a little bit about the self-healing.
Yeah, so we've done a lot to make our products really reliable. When we started off in this low-income housing market, we knew that, getting into people's individual apartments is not the way to go. We really needed to do a lot to make sure the network would heal itself and would stay up really no matter what happened to it. So some of that is done on the hardware. So we have a hardware Watchdog chip that's always looking, basically just watching the main CPU and making sure that there's no issues with the hardware. In case of a brownout or a power outage, our devices will just come back online automatically after that. So that really reduces truck rolls. In terms of the mesh, so we have this mesh layer that's kind of running in the background all the time. A lot of our customers are wiring up their access points as traditional APs, not utilizing the mesh. But if anything ever happens to an AP, so say someone cuts the Ethernet cable or someone unplugs something you shouldn't, that access point's going to automatically flip over and become a mesh repeater. So the clients that are connected to that device really won't notice a difference. I mean, they still have Wi-Fi up, nothing changes, things just continue to function as normal. In a more traditional mesh deployment where you have, one device that's plugged into Ethernet, you have that as your gateway, then you have some other devices around that are connecting via the mesh. We're constantly scanning the network and seeing what paths are available. So something happens, say there's a lot of interference or a device goes offline or, what have you, there's always going to be that connectivity back to the main gateway and back out to the internet.
Cool. It's a great feature, by the way. It makes it easy for a lot of people. Let's talk a little bit about the acquisition, because as the sign behind you says, Open Mesh is now a data company. And that acquisition, I think, happened just a few weeks ago, right?
January 30th is when we announced it publicly.
Yeah, right, exactly. So perhaps seen by some folks as an unexpected acquisition, data being a data protection company. How do you see that panning out for you guys as a Wi-Fi company? What is the impact of that, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we certainly weren't necessarily looking for an acquisition. We had a healthy business; it's growing quickly. There's a lot of things in our pipeline that we wanted to accomplish. When we started talking with Datto, though, we found that there was a very similar culture and a very similar focus on who the customer is that we're serving. There's also a commitment from Datto to keep Open Mesh existing in the marketplace as its own brand. They really want to see us continue to grow, continue to see us being successful, and really doing what we're doing already. So that was really huge for us, that we could kind of continue on our own path and just deliver a lot more value to our customers. Datto had been approaching networking. If you're not familiar with them, they're a backup and disaster recovery company primarily. So they sell to a network of more than 6,000 managed services providers that are providing backup and disaster recovery to small businesses, primarily in the US, but around the world as well. What they found with their solution was that they were often coming into problems with the network. So they had been building out the Datto Network Appliance, which is a pretty unique UTM firewall device with LTE failover to basically be that component in the network. So if there's an issue with backup, at least they can own more of the network to make sure that those backups are happening properly. And it also gives the MSP more visibility into what's happening on the network. We had approached networking from the other side. We started with Wi-Fi. Last fall, we introduced cloud managed switches that complement the Wi-Fi and really work well together. And then Datto had this network appliance router device. So we found that there was a lot of opportunity to merge that together. So as Open Mesh is operating the market as still an independent brand and still doing what we do best, Datto is now offering the Datto Network Appliance along with the switches and access points that were developed by Open Mesh, wrapping some additional services around that and offering it as networking as a service to their network of MSPs. So that was really a really great fit there in terms of just the product lineup, a shared value to customers, and a focus on the same types of customers. What it'll allow us to do going forward is accelerate some of our plans in terms of engineering. There's a lot of shared resources that we can tap into now. So I'm excited. I think it's a really great fit for both companies, and looking forward to seeing how the future plays out.
Well, congratulations, and some really interesting synergies, I think, that you just mentioned. And it also gives you presumably access to another channel, and a bigger channel perhaps, or at least a complementary channel to the one that you have in terms of sales, right?
Absolutely. I mean, so with Datto, we have essentially with Open Mesh, you have a CapEx model where you can buy the hardware up front, the cloud is included, and you can deploy that to your customers. With the Datto side, it's a little bit different. It's more of an operating model where you have 24/7 support, warranty, some additional services that are bundled in that we couldn't offer under our model. So there's really two ways to buy the Open Mesh and Datto products now.
Mm-hmm. Sounds excellent. So my last question for you, Ryan, what's next for Open Mesh in terms of new products, solutions, new markets, anything along those lines? What can we expect from you in the coming months and years?
Yeah, so for the majority of our history, we've been a Wi-Fi company, and that continues to be our main focus. Last fall, like I mentioned, we introduced a line of cloud-managed switches, which have been received really well. But the first thing that people asked as soon as we introduced the switches was, well, where's the router? They want to be able to manage their entire network in a single pane of glass. So right now we have we have the APs and the switches. The router is definitely top of mind for us for 2017. I think there's a lot of additional IoT applications that could be really interesting for our partners as well. We're basically just focused on listening to our partners, seeing what they would like to see, how we can make what we've done for Wi-Fi apply to additional products as well, and manage everything in a single pane of glass. So that's our focus for 2017. A lot of great things in the pipeline that we'll be announcing on a pretty regular basis here for the rest of the year.
It occurs to me that actually listening to what your clients want sometimes is the simple recipe for success in some cases, and I think that's what you guys have been doing, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we wouldn't be here without our partners. They've been key to helping us grow, both in terms of the product development, telling us what they want, and us responding to that and delivering that, but also telling their friends about it, telling other MSPs and integrators about Open Mesh. When a lot of people see it online, they might be maybe skeptical about it. Maybe a lot of people are making similar claims, and then when our partners actually use it and they realize it really does work as it's as they said, it really meets their needs. That's been huge for us.
Well, it's great to hear, and congratulations with all your success, and of course the acquisition as well, which sounds really good. I'm delighted to have you on the show, Ryan, and we're also delighted to have you because you're going to be coming to Washington, D.C. for the Wi-Fi Now event, and you'll be taking part in the expo. And I should say, so to our viewers, that anybody who wants to know more about Open Mesh, and I do recommend it, you can come and visit Ryan and team at our Wi-Fi Now Washington DC event, which takes place on April 18th to 20th, and you're going to be there for the full 3 days. And I'm actually looking forward to checking out all your stuff at the expo. So great to have you there. Yeah,
we're really looking forward to it. We'll have a great team there, and looking forward to meeting everyone.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, Ryan, and come back and see us again.
Will do. Thanks, Claus.
All right. Thank you. All right, everybody, that's it for this week's show. Thanks to Ryan Detwiller from Open Mesh for joining us. We'll be back next week with another great guest from the world of Wi-Fi. That's it for now. Thank you for watching, and tune in again next time.
Wi-Fi Now is a production of RCR TV News. To suggest a show topic or to learn more about Wi-Fi Now events, you can reach Claus Hetting at klaus@hettingconsulting.com. To find out more about Wi-Fi Now and all things wireless, visit rcrwireless.com.